Bring in Texas Congressman Brian Babin. And Congressman, you just introduced a bill to bolster Trump's EO, which would close loopholes that exploit birthright citizenship and end birthright tourism. And I think it's so important because we all have to be clear-minded on how much Trump's executive order is going to face obstacles in the courts. There's a lot of tricky constitutional language that executive order has to get around, whereas your bill actually changes the law. How does your bill do that?
Well, this bill is a bill that I've had for several years, but its time has come. And one reason for that is because President Trump has made so many executive orders here in just the last, 48 hours. And incredibly, he is determined to seal that border and secure our border. And when he wrote that executive order, we actually welcome these lawsuits, because these lawsuits being filed by the ACLU in these blue states and cities, which you just had on your map and on the screen there, we want to codify what he is doing with an executive order and pass this bill, get it through the House, the Senate, and have President Trump sign it into law so that the next president can't come along, another Joe Biden, and just overturn the executive order. We have to have it written in law, and that's what it's for. So we like to see this, because it's going to have to wend its way through the court system, and then hopefully the Supreme Court of the United States will rule, and we'll take care of this problem once and for all. This birthright citizenship, the whole premise of it is based on the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which was written for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to make the children of freed slaves right after the Civil War, and they were freed, to make them citizens. It had nothing to do with bringing illegal aliens in or birthright tourism, a multi-million-dollar business where people come, wealthy folks from Russia, from China, give birth to a baby here. And goodness gracious, let me tell you, Todd, 400,000 women come across this border each year to have babies. 1 in 10 is now an illegal birth, and we have to just get this thing right. We got to get it done right, and we got to get it done quickly.
Yeah, those numbers are staggering. And to your point, if you can get this bill in place as law, I almost think that at some point these cases, when they do go before the Supreme Court's going to say these are moot. There's now a law on the books that sort of takes the mantle from the executive order, and then you move on from there. Speaking of moving on, the Trump administration reportedly getting ready to halt federal funding for the risky type of research that critics have linked to COVID. A person familiar with the plans tells the Wall Street Journal, quote, "The goal of the order would be to stop scientists with U.S. funding from conducting gain-of-function research on viruses that could endanger human health." Congressman, shouldn't this have been done by the Biden administration the moment that we all learned about the danger of gain of function? Why does this fall on Trump to do in his first 96 hours in office?
Because of the incompetency of the Biden administration and the people in that administration. It's hard to even wrap your mind around the things that they did over the last 4 years in the Biden administration. Deliberately opening our border up, deliberately funding gain of function to have dangerous viruses become even more dangerous. And then on top of that, you've seen Joe Biden in the last few days, hours, and minutes of his administration pardoning his own family for violations of the law, pardoning Anthony Fauci and others like him who are right in the middle of this, and helped to unleash with taxpayer money, American taxpayer money, this virus onto the world. And so, listen, Trump is not afraid to take the bull by the horns. He is a leader. He is not afraid to lead. He will lead from the front, whereas Joe Biden, he tried to lead from the basement, and it was horrible. And we've got to get back to normal, and this is what we're trying to do. So I agree with what President Trump is doing, I'm looking forward to the next 4 years of getting this country back. It's a new day in America. I've never been more optimistic about my country, because there were a lot of people that were bordering on being in despair over these last 4 years with what was happening.
We've heard that repeated over and over again, especially this week, the week of the